I was thinking about this over the last year, I suppose, and I was thinking in my head about it. And you often think about things, and you often think very deeply about things, especially now when you're in lockdown, things that you thought a lot deeply. And I thought about everything that's wrong with this country, which you couldn't write down. Like literally, if I use this whole book here that's here, you should have write down a few notes on every once in a while, but different things. You couldn't fill the page. You would fill all the pages. You would fill 6 or 7 books of that, with all the problems facing this country. And it begs the question. This is the question I'm coming to. Is Ireland even a country? Do we even call ourselves a nation? Do we even call ourselves a sovereign nation? That's but again, me whole man doesn't believe in sovereignty. Fianna Fáil doesn't believe in that apparently. Which is obviously a nation has to be sovereign to be free. But again, that's out the window. Fianna Fáil doesn't believe in that. Non-existent, nowhere to be seen in Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael. No idea of sovereignty, but again, we joined the European Union, so it's ourselves to blame for it. But this is the thing: is Ireland an icon on the map? Is Ireland just a bit of a map? We just look at the map and Ireland's there because it doesn't. Everything that's happening, it doesn't represent Ireland, and it doesn't. It feels like it's not reality. Let's be honest. It feels like it's not reality. Like you have to often question to yourself: am I in reality? I'm in a game or something in Ireland, or I'm in the Irish Republic. I'm in the real Irish Republic because it feels like it's gone a long, long time ago. The real Irish Republic. It feels like it's just. It feels like it's just clown world, and to be totally honest with you, like I look at the map and I think it's more realistic that it's just an icon on the map. It doesn't exist. Ireland's like one of these places that don't exist. Atlantic, yeah. Atlantis, sorry, not Atlantic, Atlantic. It's a city that's rumored to exist or whatever, or like Pompeii, that it was there and it's not there now. It's nowhere to be found because we've been destroyed by our own. We have to be honest with ourselves. We've been destroyed by our own politicians. We've been left out to dry. Particularly the European Union too has a bit to blame with this. But our politicians really sold us down the river. And just sold us out for their own benefit and for their own back pockets and for their European Union masters in Europe. And that's the thing. We have to be honest with ourselves now. We look around ourselves. We see everything just collapsing. Every part of society, like literally not even one part of society is run very well. You look at the civil, well, apart from the civil service, take for example, they all get big pensions, big money out of it. They don't nothing to do with underpaid or anything in the civil service. But you look at these things between local councils and things like that, and they're not doing half the work and things like that. You look at that, and then you look at other things. You look like the health service, for example. The hospital waiting lists are beyond 1 million people. We have 10,000 children waiting for hospital waiting lists. And you're like to yourself, how can we call ourselves a sovereign nation if we can't even keep our citizens healthy and keep them well? And keep them physically and mentally well? And again, the mental health crisis. And again, the biggest thing out of it's our housing. We're basically just banishing our children, our future children, my next generation of children. And my generation would be flocking away to Australia, New Zealand, other countries for better lives. And I wouldn't blame them, really just wouldn't blame them. Because this is not the Ireland that people fought for. And we have to say straight, this is not the Ireland that people fought for. They didn't fight for just to be a symbol on a map, just saying, oh, that's Ireland. What does it represent now? It represents nothing, because there's nothing in Ireland left to destroy, because they've destroyed it all. We had it as one lyric in one song says, Era. It's a great song, I do recommend it. I can't remember the name of the artist at the moment in time, but it's on my channel, and make sure to check it out. But we had it all and we sold it away. That's just a perfect example of everything. Like we had it all, and the same with our fisheries. We had so much great fishing industry years and years ago before we sold it away to the European Union. Again, it's the same with everything. Like our country represents really, no? It's just there. Like let's be honest with ourselves for a second. It's just there on the map. It's just there on the map. It doesn't represent anything that has to do with Ireland, the culture, the heritage, the history. It's just basically it's just there on the map. It's just there. It's just an icon on the map. It's just a flag on the map. That's not even a flag on the map. It's just a pinpoint in the map. It's just a pin in the map. Because there's nothing really. We can't, like, I don't know how would you call it a nation. That's to be totally honest. And I often question myself why should we even call Ireland a nation. Because it's really just beyond, like, you wouldn't even call it a civilized nation. In some cases, you wouldn't even call it a civilized nation with some of the things that's happened. Leaving children on the streets, for example. Leaving people, abandoning children from education, special education, things like that. You wouldn't do that. Like, even the most evil people in the world wouldn't do that. Well, some of them would, but you know what I'm saying. That it's really evil that's over this country, and that's the word it is. It's evil. The devil has a hand to play in the cowards. And that's just putting it straight. And this country, I don't know, can it ever be fixed? And that's the question I often ask myself: can it ever be fixed? Because it's rooted. It's like it has its roots. Like if you think of a weed, for example, you see the weed, you see the bits of the weed in the top, but underneath it there's a big layer, big root of a weed underneath it, and that root won't come out very easily unless you use force to take it out. And what I mean by that is it's there a long time. The weed, it's been growing a long time. And what I mean by that is corruption and greed in the state by civil servants, by politicians, by the elites in this country. And again, they're the ones we have to blame for destroying this country. They're the people we have to blame. And we have to take a bit of ourselves to blame of voting in the same party over and over again, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, who really just constantly haven't changed anything. Everything's still in a mess. Micheál Martin said he fixed the housing crisis. He's doing a great job in that. He's barely fuck all done with it. Think the housing prices are going up. And he's fixed the housing crisis. Like, he done fuck all. Like, he has another year left before Leo becomes Taoiseach. But good God, again, Leo back and him under criminal investigation. Like, it's like you couldn't make it up. You really just couldn't make it up anyway. And again, you have to ask yourselves, are we sovereign? Because Micheál Martin, again, going back to this point, Micheál Martin, and again, he's the Taoiseach now. It should be real questions asked by journalists. But again, as we know, journalists are very short supply nowadays. You can't find them. They should ask him about this, because it is a very important thing. Does he believe in a sovereign nation? And this is the thing we have to ask Micheál Martin, because he said before in the Dáil record, and it's on the Dáil record, he doesn't believe in it, he doesn't want backwards idea of sovereignty. But again, to be sovereign is to be free, in my opinion. And be sovereign is to be fully independent. And Ireland's it's supposed to be a fully independent state, but obviously there's a few hands in the pie. But again, Micheál Martin needs to be asked these questions, very serious questions. Again, because I don't know how he became Taoiseach or how he was appointed Taoiseach. If he doesn't believe in one thing, sovereignty, and the freedom of a nation to be free, and to choose its own path, and to choose its own belief, and to choose its own identity as a people. Again, these are the things I often wondered over lockdown. These are the things that's going through my head now. I thought I'd talk about it. Because, I often do take to myself, should we just put a pin in the map and say that's Ireland? Because it's not really much need. Because there's nothing really here. It's just in a few years' time it'll just be desert. And that's just to be totally honest, like the way they're going. Like they couldn't destroy it anymore. Like to be totally honest, they're trying extremely hard to destroy this country. As best they can, because they're doing nothing to help anybody. It's just pain and suffering that's happening in this country. And that's all it is. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say. And I know some things people might not agree with me, but I'm sure people would agree that we're far from a nation, we're far from a civilized nation. Thank you.